Hi and welcome to another Chris's Retro Refurbs. This is a bit different than what I normally do. This is another passion I've got. It's obviously guitars. This is my original Tanglewood Les Paul. It's been sitting for a while and I just thought this would be a perfect video just to see if we can put some stuff on, clean it up. I mean, this is a learning curve for me. I mean, I've had to write stuff down to know what I'm doing, but basically I'm going to try and straighten the neck, clean the neck doesn't need cleaning. The action, check the action, which is the height of the strings, whether the neck is nice and true, the bridge heights, the saddles, whether they're in the right place, which obviously the saddles are. I know I'm not very good at showing the top of this, it would have been better. But at least you can see me working on this end here. Saddles on the bridge, I may raise that as well a bit to take a bit less tension off the strings here, because these tend to break quite a lot down here. I mean, I have done some work on this before. I've changed the pickup covers and the scratch guard and the switch, which seems to be at an angle. That's better. It did have, it has got quick locks on the straps. It's looking a bit worse for wear, but what I'm going to do is on this episode is just go through and show you a few things that I've tried to work out myself. If you hear pages turning, that's me looking through what I was doing. What I use, this is not endorsed. This is not. I haven't paid for any of this. So I'm just telling you what I use. I use Dunlop deep conditioner for the fretboard. I use a cleaner and prep on the fretboard as well. I use that first and gets all the grime off, and then I go over with deep conditioner and just condition all those frets. They don't need doing, they're nice and clean. As I say, this hasn't been used for a while. It probably could do it. And there's also fretboard conditioner as well, Jam Juice. That's not a bad one. That's a good one, that is. I've got string cleaner, which I very rarely use. But basically, that's all I'm going to use today. First things first, I'm going to give it a clean, make sure everything's nice and clean on there, and then we'll start working through from. I know there's no crackle and stuff, but we'll tune it up. I've got my pedal set up there so we can tune it and make sure the intonation's okay, and we'll just do that. What I'm going to do is I'll crack on with cleaning. With what I'll do is clean up the front first, so a couple of little sprays just to give the body a nice shine back up, because it has, as I say, it's been sat for a little while and not had the care really that I would like to have given it, but it served its purpose. It did its job. I mean, one of the things I had to do on this was replace the tuning pegs. I was using this in the band that I'm in, and I put the guitar down. I didn't put it on a guitar stand, which was a daft thing to do, and I ended up, the guitar slid down, snapped one of the tuning pegs right off. So I ended up having to replace the tuning peg, and it didn't look right, so I had to replace two tuning pegs, which still didn't look right. But I changed them and they worked absolutely perfect. I'm just giving the front of the guitar a nice buff up. Get all the years of grime off. Say years. I have had this for quite some time. I mean, it's normally easy to do this with the strings off, but I want to keep the strings on for a while. I will replace the strings on this in the next week or so. Obviously, due to lockdown, it's a bit more difficult to change strings. But what I do have is a couple of makeup brushes, not for me, for the guitar, to get into the areas where you can't get into, just like this, under your bridge around your pickups. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen these strings off a bit. At least that way then I can get underneath and give it a good clean around the pickups. When I originally bought this guitar, it had cream pickup covers, cream scratch guard, cream selector switch, and I thought, it's nice, looks nice, but it just wasn't for me. Wasn't for me one little bit. There we go, that'll do for now. Now some people will tell you not to spray the cleaner directly onto the guitar, others will tell you to spray the cleaner directly on. It's whatever preference you feel like. I do a bit of both. And what I'm going to do as well, as you can see, there's the original colour there, look, the cream. Give the back a nice clean. You can tell it's not been used loads and loads. I mean the back of the guitar, there's no buckle rash. That's one thing I do like about this guitar. No buckle rash whatsoever. Right, so I'm just going to give that back of the neck a clean. Help your fingers slide lovely up and down. Maintenance on your guitar is important. And I say this one hasn't been used for a long time, which is a shame because it's a lovely guitar. And it sounds good as well. A nice sound to it. One thing I am going to quickly clean is the headstock, because that is atrocious. Oh, that is terrible. Tell by the colour of the strings that it's not been used in a while. It's just been standing. That's why I want to set everything up, set the action up. Don't worry, I'm resting this on my knee. I'm not just grabbing hold of the neck. Some of you probably think I'm doing. I will give this a thorough clean when I change the strings in the next week. There we go. Okay, so that's all that clean. Now what we're going to do now is, well, the nut's not too bad, at least I don't think. Let's have a look at that. But I don't want to make this video too long. So you can see the nut. Does need a bit of a clean, but nothing too major. And you're all going to screen down the actual down the screen at me for doing this, but it's just to get the bit of grime off. I mean, there is some pencil lead in there. It's just in case if there's anything stuck in there. I'm not opening or rubbing too tough. I mean, I can actually, while the strings are this loose, I'm going to give the fretboard a nice clean. Show you how I do that. Use this first. just a light spray. Them strings aside. And really get between all those frets. Each side. And as I said, I'm not too fussed about these strings. These strings have had it. They've had the day. So that's not. I don't want to take them off because I just want to use them so I can show you me straightening the neck and the tension perfectly on there. Just going to feel these frets. Yeah, they're okay. As I say, it's not had too much of an outing, so the frets on this are not going to be worn out. Not going to be damaged. Right, so I'll put strings back on. As I say, these strings aren't the best, I know. They look atrocious. They do the job. No point using new strings. They'll probably snap when I start retuning it. But at the moment, while it's sitting here like so, it doesn't really make a difference. That's cleaned. I'll put all them back on. I need to take them back off now because I need to put some deep conditioner on the fretboard. Only do this on these type of fretboards. Never do it on a Fender with a. Only do it on maple. That's it. Just get a bit of that out. There we go. Keep your fretboard nice and clean. Letting that soak in a little bit. And don't worry, I know you think that I'm using the same cloth over and over and over. I'm using the same cloth in different positions. I know what I've used first, where I've used it, and so on and so forth. It's good maintenance on your guitars. It's good. I mean, you wouldn't think that I've had this guitar now. Oh, let me work this out now. 6.5, 7 years. I say it doesn't look like it's been used a lot. It did at first. It used to have a hammer in at first, but because I looked after it, kept it clean. Regular string changes when I break them. It's not terrible because I use 9s, pinks, Ernie Ball pinks. Again, not sponsored. Ernie Ball pinks. I've got a dink in there. Yeah, I've got a little dink there. Excuse the head then. I've got a little dink, which I can take that out with a bit of fret files, which I have. Didn't think I was going to have to do this, but I might as well. These things are always encased in plastic when you don't need them. That one, wasn't it? Yeah, that's okay. only going lightly over. You know, some people attack them and they really go mad. And I've got some 800 grit just to polish that fret back up. There we go. Simple as that. I'm just going to check. Yep, no dead spots there. There we go. You can use jam juice instead, which is fretboard conditioner as well, but I use either one, it doesn't really make a difference. Just put these back on. We'll tune it up and then we shall check the neck, we'll check the intonation, we'll check a few other things. But yeah, I mean, it's getting there. It's my old faithful. Now I'm just going to stop the camera because obviously you've seen tuning up before, and it's daft to keep showing stuff that people know. But I'll be right back. I'm back. Right, we're all tuned up using my Toneworks Korg tuner, which is a good little tuner actually. Which obviously needs to be plugged in when you use it, but we're all tuned up anyway, because the first thing we want to check is, using our straight edge, we need to check whether there's an up bow or a down bow, which is front bow, back bow, and we need to check the relief on those to double check. So what we want to do first is, well, we can check the straightness on this anyway, first off. Get the right side. Here we go. There we are. And just taking a look, I can see there's way too much front curve on this. Way too much. I mean, you're talking to a point where I can see fresh air under there, which is not good. Not good at all. So, first thing I'm going to do, just release the tension on the strings. Because we want to start with a nice straight neck. So this has got a front bow on it. Right, no, hardly any tension on there. Just going to double check that again. And again, I mean, I can near enough get a pick under there. That is way too much front bow on that. Way too much. So what we need to do is adjust the nut. So adjust the truss rod. What did I say nut for? Oh, I'm a nut. So take the cover off, Allen key, and what to say is righty tighty, lefty loosey. But that's all well and good, but it depends which way around you're looking at it. Now to loosen it, I want to turn away. To tighten, I want to come this way. Because there's too much front relief, we need to give it a bit of relief. So let's just have a quick look here, because I've written all this down, what I was going to do. So we've got front bow. I say tightening should bring that back, so I think it's loosening it, because tightening it will pull it. But we'll try. What we'll do first is we'll just adjust it very sparingly. To see which, yeah, there. So we need to tighten it. If you know which direction you're working from, see that moving slightly now. Get down on the floor so I can get a better look at that. Man, this is way out. You know what, smooth those strings. Remove those strings. Should always start with a nice loosened guitar, so you've got a nice straight neck to work with. Just have a look at that a second. Just loosen that quite a bit just to see what it does. Ah, yeah, there we go. We are doing it the right way. Just pulling that neck back in now. Ah, there we go, yeah. I got it. Never over tighten your truss rod. Well, you can still hear me over there. Never over tighten your truss rod. If you can, snap your neck. From what I've heard. I mean, this is just a little bit more. That was my knuckle on the. Yeah, once more. There we go. That is much better. Not 100% yet. So we'll give it one more turn, I think. And that is near enough it. So what we're trying to do is get that so the neck is dead level. If it bows upwards, your strings are going to be high in certain places. If it bows backwards, here they'll be tighter, here they'll be tighter on the backwards, and you'll be bringing the strings like that direction. You want dead flat, which is why I've got my lovely straight edge. which I think about there, and that's it. That's our neck nice and straight. Now, once we've done that, we can pop all these strings back again. Put the cover back on. Mustn't forget the cover. It shows how long this has been done since its last set up, because that neck was really, that neck was bowing right upwards. I mean, I could stick, I mean that's a 0.75 mil, 7.3 mil, and I could near enough put that straight underneath, so that's a lot of stress on that neck. We've relieved it down, so that's a nice true straight neck. So now we're just going to tune it back up again. On my trusty in one way to gauge is fifth string, that's an A, so that should be an open A. I mean, you can hear a bit of buzz on there, but that just means we've got to adjust all the saddles, because obviously the playing height on that now is quite close, so we may have to raise the bridge up slightly. So we just tune the old guy up back on again. Not the best way to tune up, but it's just so you can so it's A, E, A, excuse my arm in the way then, I was just miles away then. Right, now we've got it perfectly tuned, so we've got E, which is a little down there, So obviously your strings stretch. A, D, G, B, E. What you also have is E, A, D, G, B, E. Now one thing I noticed, the intonation on this is terrible, so what we're going to do next is, oh, bear with me, move those out of the way, take our capo, and now we're going to walk through the intonation. So what we do now is, the 12th fret should sound the same, but what we can do is check the neck height. If we do that across there, check that there, we've got a little bit of bounce. So all the strings are all the way down. So we know that neck's true. Now with the intonation, the 12th fret should be an octave higher than an open string. So if this is an E, which it is, just a little bit off, there we go. That should be an E. Now that is dead on, absolutely dead on. Right, what we have, an E, and on the 12th, E, and that intonation is spot on. A, intonation again, it's a little low, but that's fine, it's nothing to. D, again, that's spot on. But what I want to do is raise the bridge slightly, because I've noticed these strings are way too close. Sorry, way too high. I want to bring them in a bit, bring them down a bit. So what I want to do is I'll give myself a flathead screwdriver. Getting ready for this bit. And just take this saddle down a bit. Now I'm just going to do by eye because I know where I want my guitar set up. So I'll just show you here. As I turn this will bring the saddles down slightly. It may help with the strings breaking all the time as well. So I was going to adjust this up. So I always seem to break those two strings there. So that should be perfect height that I want. I can measure it. I need a steel rule, which I haven't got with me at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just have a quick look at that. That is, I would say that is spot on. It's a little bit high here, so I'll take that down a bit. I'll just double check the other side. It's a little bit high. I mean, I will double check these with a steel rule, but that seems okay to me. What we need to do now is retune, check the intonation once again. It's obviously dropping the strings down. By dropping the bridge down, shortens the string slightly. If you get a buzz, you can bring the neck up slightly, and that should take the buzz out, because you're bringing the neck up away from the frets. But it's all your preference really. So right, so we've just checked we're in tune. Now that's high. So what we need to do is bring that string down a bit. And I do have that's all I had. I'll finish my screwdriver. I think it's this one. It's going to be a bit difficult with this, but I've got an extension. There we go. What we're going to do now is just change the intonation on here. The longer the string, obviously it's out. So what we do, and we need to bring that now. That's too high. That's too low, sorry. So we need to bring the saddle up a bit. Oh, wrong way. So we'll just relax that off a bit. I think about one more half a turn, and that will be I'm only going to do one string, I'm not going to do the whole guitar. So obviously it takes forever to do the whole guitar. And I don't want to make this video too long. And that is now spot on. So that's how you check the intonation. And I shall see you in a second when, in fact I'll just jump straight into it. What you can check now is your height against your pickups. As long as they're not touching when you drop that down, because obviously that's going to be hitting. All you need to do is just lower that down slightly. It's your own preference where you want it. Same with the height on there, as long as they're not touching. I mean, that back one is really close there, so we'll drop that down a bit, like so. Same with that. I'm just doing it by eye, but I will get a ruler and sort this out a bit better. And that's the height of the pickup. And that's basically the guitar setup then. You can check all your pots to see if there's any crackle, your switches, you can use some switch cleaner in there. Obviously change your strings at some point, but that's basically how I set all my guitars.